Hello and welcome to part 3. In this one we're going to actually go ahead and work a little bit with bringing in multiple documents or navigating through documents. So let's go ahead and start with this. I'm going to open up my regular bridge, so File, Browse and Bridge, and I'm going to pick just maybe, 4 of my images. Okay, so I have 4 of them here. Now, if I have 4 of them selected, I can hit Control and O, and you'll see that all 4 of them are brought into Photoshop, and each one of them is brought into their own tab up here. What's nice about this, of course, is you can click through them, and you can work on them, and you have them all accessible to you. I can also do something called floating windows. So I can take this last image here, and left mouse click and drag it into the window. And now you'll see that this is a floating document, so I can size it if I want to a little bit. As you can see, the resolution, the size of it stays as it is, even though I've closed down the window a little. I could change the size if I wanted to. So go to 25%, and you'll see how that changes it a little bit. You can keep taking that down if you need to, or up, whatever the case may be. But floating documents are kind of cool. The thing about floating documents is that sometimes they actually get lost. They can get lost behind other things, and then you don't see them, and you can have a hard time finding them. What's really nice about Photoshop, though, is if you do have floating documents, and you've lost one, just go to Windows, and down here you'll see that you have all of your documents right here for you to choose from, and that will help you find any that might be floating and lost. So that's kind of a handy thing to do. Another thing that you can do is you can drag one of them into another one. You see, again, I have that blue outline that we kind of become familiar with, and I can drop it here. Now I have these two in this floating window. I can take them out of this floating window and put them back up there. If I do have them floating separately like this, I can take them both and put them up there, and it will separate them for me. Another thing that we can do is if we want to look at all of our images at the same time, but we don't want to do floating windows, we can go to Window, Arrange, and because I have 4 of them, I can arrange 4 up. So you see I have all 4 of the windows here now open for me. At any point if I want to, I can go back to Window, Arrange, and consolidate them all to tabs again. Another thing is if you do have floating ones like this, you can go to Windows and Arrange and consolidate to tabs, and it will put them all back in the tab for you. So when you go and have them all, or you're looking at them, there's a zoom tool, which is like really important. So you can click on your zoom tool over here, or you can hit Z, and when you hit Z, you can just click here, and it keeps zooming in and zooming in. If you use Alt and left mouse click, then you can see that you zoom out. So, just left mouse clicking zooms in, Alt left mouse clicks out. We also have what's called a Scrubby Zoom, so you can come up here to Scrubby Zoom and check mark it, and now you can drag to the left and drag to the right, and you'll see that your image goes in and goes out the way that you want it to, and that's pretty handy. Another thing about Zoom is you can turn Scrubby Zoom off, and now when it's off and you drag a box with your zoom tool still on, when you let go of this, let me go back for a second. 1 second. Alright, sorry. When you go back to this, And Scrubby Zoom, like I said, is turned off. You can drag a box around a part of it, and when you let go, that part will be zoomed in for you to actually see really nice. So that's pretty good. Another thing that you can do if your Scrubby Zoom is turned off, you can use your plus and minus buttons. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to use control plus and control minus, and that will zoom in for you as well. Another tool that we have that's handy is the hand, and you can either click on it over here, or you can use the H on your keyboard. And when you click on that, you have the ability, and I'm not getting my ability, to drag this around. I must have too much going on, because you can drag this around. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so there was no sense in panning around if it didn't go bigger than the actual image. So that's why I couldn't do it at first. So you see, if you zoom out, you have space here, so there's no reason to be able to pan around. You can see the whole thing, but if you zoom in, like I was saying, then you have the ability to pan just by pressing on your left mouse button. So those are pretty handy tools. If you hold, actually, I guess that's probably about it for the way that you can, have the different tabs. Have your floating windows, consolidating them to tabs and arranging them so that you have them all showing at the same time. I guess that about covers it for this little part. Have fun with it. Coming soon, another lesson.